Thank you very much. Please, we may please be seated. It's always a pleasure listening to the rendition of the national anthem by the Nigerian band. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Transplant Association of Nigeria was founded to keep the goal of providing hope to those who may have suffered one form of organ loss or the other. And this gathering, the General Conference of the Association, brings together transplant practitioners from all over the country as another testament to the relevance of this association. If I were to be a member of this association, I will be proud of myself, and I will feel the need to give myself a round of applause to be a member of the Transplant Association of Nigeria. Thank you very much for making it to this event. We have started the event, and I will be the anchor for this event, but I'm not doing it without a delectable colleague of mine, a seasoned broadcaster, a compare par excellence, Miriam Adiola Gbadebo. For me, my name is, you can just get your microphone and come upstage. Please, another round of applause for her as she comes upstage. My name is Hamid Adediro. Those who know me so well call me the medical star because I combine the dual profession, prestigious profession of being a medical doctor and a broadcaster. And I think I deserve a round of applause as well.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to welcome you to the 5th Biennial Scientific Conference. And we're honored to be here. I will be working alongside my very handsome colleague here. My name is Miriam Adiola Gbadebo. I'm equally a broadcaster, but I'm also a beneficiary of the work of this very amiable association. So I'm very honored to be standing here, being your host today. You're welcome.
A transplant ambassador, you may say. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to this side of the auditorium a man who spent the greater part of his life not just taking care of people's kidneys, but teaching other doctors how to take care or how to help people to take care of people's kidneys. He's one of those we like to call grand teachers in the medical profession. He's one of those who are medical practitioners, but they have been practicing this profession for many years before many of us were even born. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is significant for you to note that when someone has served as a professor, eventually retained to be an emeritus professor, it means this person, although worthy of being retired, is not tired. And honestly, this man is definitely not tired of participating actively in every effort that seeks to put the head of Nigerians and the kidneys of Nigerians as the topmost priority. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Obafemi Awolowo University, popularly known as Obawa University. Any great Ife in the house? It's quite unusual to have a silent house with Ife graduates in it. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Emeritus Professor Adewale Akinshola, the chairman of this occasion. Please welcome him to the high table. Ushers. Someone just but now. Are you sure this is the Emeritus Professor? He looks too young to be an Emeritus Professor. Another round of applause for him, please.
You're welcome, sir. All right, also joining on the high table, it is an honor for me to invite none other than the former Deputy Governor of Lagos State and also the former advisor to the President on SDGs. Her Excellency, Princess Adejoke Orelope Adefulire, OFR, please make your way to the high table. Please, let's put our hands together for her.
Thank you very much. Also for the high table is the royal father of today, His Royal Highness, the Emir of Ibi. Ibi is a very strong kingdom in Taraba State. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the high table Alhaji Abubakar Dambawuru III.
All right, at this point, we would like to also invite to the high table the President, Transplant Association of Nigeria, Professor Fatiu Arogundade. Please make your way. Please let's put our hands together for him as he makes his way up stage.
This is one of those days that's, if you have a problem pronouncing a word like professor or doctor, it will reflect because almost all the names you pronounce. Star Association to TAN, the Nephrology Association of Nigeria, Dr. Adanze Asinobi. Dr. Asinobi is a pediatric nephrologist from the University College Hospital, and I'm proud to say she was and is my teacher. Thank you very much. Another round of applause for her, please. One of those lecturers we love to attend their lectures, soft-spoken. You would hear her speak. You're welcome, man.
I'm looking forward to it. All right. At this point, I would like to invite someone someone I know all too well, someone who I like to think of as my dad, my elder brother, and we have similar heights, but also he's somebody who has been very instrumental for me. Most of the time I used to see him from an angle, but I'm very honored. The first time I met this person, it was because I was on the bed in need of help. Today I'm honored to be standing here because of the hard work he did to get me standing here. None other than Dr. Olalekan Olatishe. We would like to put our hands together for Dr. Olatishe, who is the chairperson, LOC, and of course, member of the LOC. Please, let's put our hands together for him.
Thank you very much. Now, I'd like to recognize the presence of the chairman, the #1 medical doctor in Abuja, the chairman of the Nigerian Medical Association FCT chapter. No, he's not a member of the Transplant Association, at least not yet, but he is a distinguished and accomplished consultant neurosurgeon. Maybe we're on our way to having brain transplants very soon. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to this side of the divide, Dr. Charles Ugwain.
Right now, I would like to invite to the high table the Counselor for Asia and Africa for the Transplantation Society, none other than Dr. David Thomas. Please, let's put our hands together for Dr. David Thomas, who is the Counselor for Asia and Africa for the Transplantation Society.
I noticed people turning around when they called his name. I mean, he's unmistakable. For someone like me, and that's why, if you noticed, I kept him far away because the contrast would be too much. Yeah, so you're welcome. How was your flight? Oh yeah, it was good. Welcome to Nigeria. Have you tried suya, asun? Oh, you should actually. Yes, you will enjoy it. It's all right, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, the former Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Your Royal Highness, the MLFEB. President, Transplant Association of Nigeria. Counselor for Asia and Africa of the Transplantation Society. President, Nephrology Association of Nigeria. Chairman, NMEFCT chapter. Other distinguished members, executive members of the Transplant Association of Nigeria. The Chairman, Local Organizing Committee, and members of the LOC. Members of the Transplantation Association of Nigeria. Distinguished members of the Hippocratic Calling. Descendants of Florence Nightingale here present. Gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is our honor to stand before you to welcome you today. We will be your anchor, we will be your hosts, and we do hope you would have a pleasurable moment today. I ask you to welcome yourselves with a warm round of applause.
And it is also a great opportunity to shake the person next to you. We need to get the room warm. Yes, it is indeed a conference, but you want to probably meet the person next to you. Welcome the person next to you.
All right. With that exchange of pleasantries, I hope the atmosphere is warm enough, even though I'm not sure it's cold enough. What's the temperature now? We'll check. May we proceed with the welcome address by the chairperson of the Local Organizing Committee, the president of the Local Organizing Committee, a distinguished consultant nephrologist, and also the chief medical director of Zenith Medical and Kidney Center, Dr. Olalekan Olatishi.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, special guests of honor, distinguished colleagues, teachers, pressmen, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Local Organizing Committee, it is my greatest delight to welcome you to the 5th Biennial Conference of the Transplant Association of Nigeria. And this is the body a prestigious body that cuts across various specialties of medicine and surgery. As you know, the theme of the year's conference is Organ Transplantation in Nigeria, the journey so far. There has been a steady growth and awareness of organ transplantation over the last couple of years, particularly in Nigeria. It will be good to look at the ways, not just to improve this, but also to consolidate and see how we can kickstart the other areas of organ transplantation that we haven't started. Liver, pancreas, pancreatic transplants, lung transplants, and heart transplantation. Now, the Conference Organizing Committee has put together a very rich program that promises to be scientifically engaging. I must say, I think 2 of our guests are stuck in Lagos, trying to catch a flight down to Abuja. This is the first time it will be taking place.
I would have been surprised if I didn't get something like Dewo from Dr. Olatishi. Do you know why? You know why? Only ZMKC people are saying why. You see, in medicine, I understand that a lot of doctors sometimes confuse their children, because when their children are around them with their colleagues, they hear everybody calling them chief, chief, chief. So a young boy once asked his father, "Sir, are you a traditional ruler?" To the stage, the welcome speech by the president of the Transplant Association of Nigeria. You will get to know more about him when he's about to talk about the theme of this conference. But for now, Let's just welcome him to the microphone, Professor Fatiu Arogundade.
The chairman of this occasion, my teacher and mentor, Emeritus Professor Adewale Akinshola, the guest of honor for today, Her Excellency Dr. Maybe your doctorate is coming, ma. Adefulere, the royal father of the day, the president of NAN, our distinguished resource persons. I will be feeling my responsibility if I do not recognize the past presidents of, and I should also recognize very specially the members of the Executive Council, particularly the President-elect, Professor Jacob Awobusi. Can we know you, sir? My distinguished senior colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed my pleasure to welcome you to the 5th Ben Organ Transplantation in Nigeria, the journey so far. I bet you there are several other interesting and engaging topics. Early this morning, we had a very first scientific session, which was enlightening and interesting, especially the presentations from the TTS that tells us that we're not only the only ones that have issues with ethics and with registries, but we should all improve on it. And of course, the one that has to do with ethics. This meeting should have been held in 2021, but this was made difficult as we were just recovering from COVID-19 pandemic, which ravaged the entire world. We, however, had monthly virtual continuous transplant medicine education seminars throughout the period. We thank the Almighty for not only sparing us, but for limiting its morbidity and mortality in our country. If we look at what COVID did to several other countries, we will know that we're indeed very, very lucky here. We have invited an array of scientists and clinicians that will discuss cutting-edge research findings related to the team and plenary sessions as well. There will be presentation of abstracts, and I bet you it promises to be most scientifically enriching, illustrative, educative, and socially relaxing. We've been told that they will create sessions for those that want sightseeing, to be able to go around Abuja, look at the Zuma Rock, look at some of the interesting places in Abuja. We have been now having our biennial meeting. We shall be having our biennial meeting tomorrow, 22nd of August. And this year's meeting is critical because we will be having our elections during this meeting. Hence, your attendance and participation is not just desirable, but mandatory to ensure that the trajectory of growth and development within the association is sustained. Let me appreciate my predecessors in office, Dr. Ayo Shonibare and Dr. Ebumbangoye. They laid a very solid foundation for this association and sacrificed a lot. Having been part of the initial team, I knew all that they sacrificed to ensure that this association is able to stand St. John Street, ruminating on the need for this association. That crop of individuals laid the solid foundation on which this association is firmly established. We remain grateful to them and we'll be honoring them, if not at this meeting, in a subsequent meeting. Let me also congratulate the local organizing committee under the able and dynamic leadership of our indefatigable medical entrepreneur, Dr. Olalekan Olatishe, for the massive mobilization for this conference. TAN is still growing, and I must say, things have continued to improve, particularly with kidney and cornea transplantation. Despite all the challenges we've had, things have still improved. Bone marrow transplantation has not grown much, and liver transplantation is still not existent in Nigeria. This is in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, which generally reduced the pace of development We need to be able to network with major stakeholders locally and internationally to ensure its realization, particularly the aspect of deceased donation. Kidney transplant centers are now 16, even though it's been erratic in most government hospitals because of bureaucratic bottlenecks and support from management. We must continue to encourage our colleagues in the private sector who have continued to ensure that we remain relevant in the community of transport across different organs. They will be presenting reports during this meeting. Mr. Chairman, distinguished senior colleagues and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to Abuja and wish you a most interesting, socially relaxing, and scientifically enriching experience. God bless us all. Long live Transplant Association of Nigeria. Long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
I would think that the president of TAN deserves a louder round of applause. Considering that we all voted him into the office. How many of us noticed the length of Professor Arogundade's signature at the end of his speech? If you look at it very well, you will see that it's compartmentalized. A section of it is for his professorial chair in OAU. Another section really appreciates and recognizes the presence of the foundation president of the Transplant Association of Nigeria, Dr. Ebun Bandoye. Or the second, beg your pardon. We'd also like to appreciate one of our international resource persons. Welcome. Please, another round of applause for Dr. Kukwala. We'd also like to appreciate the representative of the Vice Chancellor, David Umahi, Federal University of Health Sciences, Professor Esther Ajala-Chukwu. Thank you, Ma, for the correction. I was wondering because Ajala is supposed to be a Yoruba name. I beg your pardon, Ma. Professor Esther Ajala-Chukwu.